Hey, I'm Doc Jen, better known as DocJenFit on Instagram, and I'm a physical therapist, and I want to show you one of my favorite back exercises that people don't normally think of, but I use it in almost all of my back pain patients, and it makes a world of a difference because we're naturally going to kind of align the body, use the diaphragm, which reduces stress and tension in the body naturally, so it's going to reduce that maybe spasms or tensioning you might have on the low back, and it's going to help to work the upper portion of our core, which our shoulder blades are still a part of, while kind of getting the hips to go back into a place of better alignment underneath the rib cage. So a lot of times what happens with back pain, people end up standing like this, and not that it's bad, but if we only stand in one way, if we're only putting tension in our back in one way, or moving just from our low back rather than our upper back, rather than our hips, then we might start to put overuse and overtension into this low back, and that's why we might have pain. So just try this exercise with me. It's going to feel a little funny. It's going to feel like, am I doing this right? But the more that you come back to it and try it, the better it's going to get. So just be open. Find some towels. So I'm just using 2 little towels, and I love the fact that you can just use towels for this exercise because it's usually accessible to most everyone. So what you're going to do, and I like to use 2 separate ones rather than one big one, so that you're really understanding, oh, am I putting pressure on one side versus the other? The whole point of these towels is that we want to keep them pressed into the wall, and we don't want to let the body come off the wall at all. This is a wall plank that we're going to do. It's going to sound crazy because you're like, planks are usually on the floor. That's what makes it hard. But this one's actually going to feel really challenging. So we're going to come about a foot away from the wall. So I'm a little bit closer just because I have some extra space at the bottom here that is already taken up near the wall. And I'm going to place my towels on my elbows here. So placing my towels on my elbows here. Now I want to keep those elbows just shoulder width apart and hands up. So I'm not leaning into the wall. So it's not this way. I want to be directly basically standing underneath my shoulders, okay? Now the hard part is going to come in this next part. We're going to press the elbows into the wall. So you want to feel like you're pinching those towels into the wall. So again, think of the chest, the sternum coming away from the wall, the shoulder blades coming away from the spine. That's kind of what we're doing. Also, hands, separate them. We're going to keep them right above those elbows, okay? So we're really going to make those shoulder blades work. Now, this is only one portion. Now we're going to sit the bottom back, and this is where it gets a little tricky. So you're going to unlock the knees, but keep the knees from going forward. We don't want the knees to go forward. We want to keep them directly over the ankles. So unlock the knees, and now hips are going to go back. As hips go back, I want your elbows to push into the wall even more. And now as hips go back, rather than arching in the back, I want you to tuck that tailbone under. So pull that tailbone underneath you even more. And now you're going to take really expansive breaths around that rib cage. We're just going to do 5 big breaths right around this rib cage. And as you breathe out, you want to dive your elbows into the wall even more, tuck that tailbone under even more, and you're going to feel like I'm falling backwards. That's the hard part. Keep the towels pressing into the wall. So here we go. Pressing the chest away from the wall, leaning back, tuck that tailbone underneath you. 5 big breaths. Push the elbows into the wall on each exhale. One more. Woo. And then come up. Oh, you might feel those shoulders starting to burn and think, how is this related to my low back? But again, if you watch positioning here, so as we're coming back, rather than allowing that low back to take over, we're actually rotating and getting that core to take over, the glutes to activate more, rather than the quads, hip flexors, and low back. This is the pattern that a lot of people like to naturally go into, so we're teaching the body a new way. So if you you can, let's try it just one more time. And again, this, you might not get it to click right now. You might be like, this is crazy. I have no idea what I'm doing. Bear with me. It gets better the more that you come back to it, okay? So we're gonna keep those elbows on the towel, elbows directly in front of you. Open up those hands. A lot to think about here, I know. And here we go. We're gonna press the elbows into the wall. Push the shoulder blades away from the spine. Now when we're here, we're gonna dive the hips back. Now with the hips back, tuck the tailbone under. 5 big breaths from that low rib cage. Breathing in, breathe out, push those elbows into the wall. One more. Woo! Oh, so good. And the reason I like using towels or tools for the body is so that you can actually start to feel different changes. I even notice that I see the towels almost want to start to move, so I know that I need to drive my elbows into the wall even more. It's just another layer of feedback to help activate those small stabilizing muscles so we really start to retrain what's happening within the body. Tools can be so beneficial, and especially when it's easy access like this little household item. So I hope you come back to this and try it again and again. Again, it might feel weird, it might feel different pressures, but keep practicing this. At least try it 1 time a day, 5 breaths, that's it. It's not a lot of load, it's not a lot of tension, it's just retraining the body to be in a natural, upright position without having to think about it, force it, but retrain the body.